Let's say that you belong to God's chosen people today, right now. What happens when your group habitually breaks its commitment? Will God's mission come to a complete stop? If you're interested to find out, then stick around. Hi, Keduvan here, and welcome to another episode of Week at a Glance, where we dive into a thoughtful summary of this week's Bible study guide. Welcome to another episode of our series on the Covenant. When you hear the name Israel, what comes to your mind? Do you think of Israel in the Old Testament, or maybe the state of Israel, which was founded in 1948? Who is the Israel of God? Now let's go back in time and trace the history of God's chosen people. The year was approximately 1500 BC. A nation without a country was growing within the borders of Egypt. Life was good until one day they were forced into slavery. This is the sad story of Israel in Egypt. The title of this episode is The True Israel of God. Now, here are the important points to remember for today's episode. Our first point is the purpose of true Israel. Although the land of Egypt offered the conditions necessary for them to grow in number as a nation, they were only there in Egypt temporarily. Before Joseph died, he looked forward in faith, and his last words were, "God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land to the land of which he swore to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob." While the children of Israel were in Egypt, something remarkable happened. God, through Moses, miraculously freed them from the bondage of slavery. God confirmed his covenant with Abraham that through him and his descendants, the families of the earth would be blessed. The nation of Israel, though not as advanced as other nations, and during this time they were without a country, but they were called for a special purpose. In the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, it says, "For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth." Along with this, God will also fulfill his promise to give them Canaan as the promised land. However, the receiving and keeping of this property were contingent on their obedience to God's covenant. So, how did it go with Israel? Did they keep their end of the deal? Let's take a look at it. Our second point is the remnant as true Israel. God's covenant with them was more like a marriage covenant. But they were unfaithful so many times. They broke the relationship with God over and over and over again, and as a result, they received the curses of the covenant. Despite the national apostasy, a few remained faithful to God's covenant. This group was called the Faithful Remnant. It was a religious body, not a national one. The purpose of God in creating and preserving a faithful remnant from the national and political Israel was to make them the carriers of God's promises. Through this faithful remnant, the light of truth continued to shine from one generation to the next, And even during the exile, a faithful remnant continued to represent the true purpose of Israel's calling to be a holy nation and a special people. A few years after their return from the exile, Israel as a nation lost their relationship with God. Their marriage with God became more of a legal arrangement. It became barren, seemingly kept alive by the rituals they perform and the hypocrisy of their leaders. But there was hope. The Old Testament looked forward to the development of a true spiritual Israel that would include the faithful descendants of Abraham and the faithful believers drawn from the Gentile nations. Let's jump to our next point and talk about this. Our third and final point is the church as true Israel. The word Israel appears over 2,500 times in the Old Testament and 68 times in the New Testament. From these 68 appearances in the New Testament, 3 of them refers to the church. Coming from the bloodline of Abraham by itself, it's never a guarantee of membership in the true Israel. In Romans chapter 9 verse 6, the apostle Paul argues that not all Israel who are of Israel. Rather, the true Israel is a remnant according to the election of grace in Romans chapter 11. Through Jesus, a new Israel to carry out God's plan was formed, a community that had the rightful claims to the covenant promises to Abraham. The followers of Jesus, regardless of their nationalities, gender, social status, became spiritual Israel. God transferred his affection from literal Israel to spiritual Israel, the true Israel of God. The story continues, and you are part of God's true Israel. Think about that. So amazing, right? In summary, here are the different points that we talked about in today's episode. Point number 1, the purpose of true Israel. Point number 2, the remnant as true Israel. And point number 3, the church as true Israel. Now, if you want to help this ministry, then give this video a thumbs up, as that tells YouTube to share it to more people. And don't forget to share it with your friend. Now, spread the word and change lives one message at a time. And if you want to watch more summaries like this, then click on this video right here. This is again Keo Devan for Week at a Glance. I'll see you in the next video.